What's going on, everybody? I'm King Sway, and as this is a reaction channel, I'm reacting to something. Some time ago, I think over a year ago, I did a reaction to Death Battle's Ben 10 versus Hal Jordan Green Lantern. I caught a lot of flack for that. I still catch flack for that. You guys are still in my comments. I see those. I just choose not to respond more often than not. Trust me. I was asked to do a reaction to Ink Tank's Ben 10 Can Beat Anybody, and Ink Tank's the analysis on it and everything like that. I did. And a lot of you fanboys, and I use the term fanboys as opposed to fans for a reason, still believe Ben 10 can beat any and everybody. He can't. He can't. I've actually had a couple of you guys go, oh, well, you're just a comic book poser, or whatever the hell that means. Look, I enjoy a lot of mediums. Anime, manga, video games, comic books. But the thing about it is, I actually read and do more than just my fandom. Now, I was the type of dude that at one point in time, I thought Goku could beat anybody. He can't. And for those of y'all listening, Goku will never be able to beat Superman. I said what I said. They keep depowering Superman, and he's still more a match. I said what I said. That's more so spite than anything. But with the Dragon Ball community, they think Goku beats absolutely anybody, despite the fact that Goku gets bodied a lot. So, this is the Ben 10 fandom, and we're going to go over the analysis of Ben 10 versus Green Lantern Death Battle from Ink Tank, and we're doing it again. I'm going to do a play-by-play on what I agree with, what I don't agree with, why I don't agree with it, and why I came to the decision that I made about it. So, here we go.
I'm not letting you leave with that.
I remember this. This is Cool Factor.
You completely forgot about me, didn't you?
Ben! Big Jim!
I always figured the Omnitrix had a failsafe that wouldn't let me die, and sure enough, it kicked in.
This video contains
Cool Factor points. It's there's too much about that. One, I don't know how many of you watched the original. No. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. As I've said before, if you ever see me and I'm going like this, I'm looking at one of my cats. They're doing something. You obviously just saw that. If you ever watched the original G.I. Joe, there's a reason why they use lasers instead of bullets. Every little kid knows what happens when you get hit. Biggs. Come on, go play. Go play. Go play. Every little kid knows what happens when you get hit with a bullet. You can BS your way out of lasers. The consistency of it isn't always consistent, is what I'm saying. Like, for lack of a better term, it's not always scaled right. It's incongruent. Lasers shoot through metal and stuff, and you got breaking down parts of mechs, but that same laser hits a human, and all of a sudden that human's still alive. No laser burns, no nothing. And when the thing comes down, how? But, continuing.
spoilers for the entire Ben 10 vs. Green Lantern Death Battle episode, which at the time of this upload is currently only available on Rooster Teeth's paid subscription plan. If you have not seen the battle and do not wish for it to be spoiled, please go check it out when it's available to the public, and I'll see you back here soon. First things first, I totally called that they were going to mix up the child and teenage versions of his aliens, right down to the first alien they'd use. A few days ago, I made a video exemplifying Ben's versatility as a fighter and a few Omnitrix features that get overlooked. The video was in response to the announcement of Ben Tennyson being accepted as a participant in the infamous brawler web series known as Death Battle. I said I would make a follow-up video after the battle is released, but if you haven't watched my first video, then that is totally fine. This video can be enjoyed and understood completely
I'll
on its
probably be
own
doing
as a response
another
to Death
reaction to
Battle's
that as well.
episode. I would still like to recommend checking it out at some point later though, as it covers a lot of feats about Ben 10 that I'd love to bring more attention to. But what I'm
Okay, I'm going to point out the fact, yeah, he's dodging lasers, right? Those lasers are not moving at the speed of light. They're not. They're not. He's not moving at the speed of light because they have regular people dodging lasers in Ben 10. That much aside, I shouldn't say regular people. People who don't move at the speed of light, who are not known to move at the speed of light, dodging lasers. Now, if that's the case, he's dodging lasers. He's faster than Accelerate in his human base form. Inconsistency.
I'm going to focus on in this video is things directly relevant to the death battle. I'm going to break it up into sections to make it a bit easier to consume. This will cover what I liked about the battle, what I'd fix about the battle, such as everything they got wrong or some things that they did that
kind of like how I'm doing with this.
And then responding to the comments from my last video.
Up.
Anyways, I had no problems with the recap. Every time I was about to make a note, they seemed to be one step ahead. It was very surprising. They really laid out a lot of feats I didn't think they'd mention. There were some statements that were phrased that made it seem like they watched a few of my videos for this, which is pretty neat. There were a few minor errors, like when they talked about Weibig's fight against the Dagon, they showed a clip of him fighting malware. Or when they said the overuse of the Omnitrix can horribly disfigure a user's DNA, which I don't think I've ever heard before, even as a rumor. I'm really interested in knowing where they got that from. They also say Derek
I commented on that prior.
Show's creators, but none of these things come up in the actual battle, so who cares? The fight was really cool to watch too. It kept me on the edge of my seat with how close things would come. The writing for Ben and Hal seemed pretty in character, and I thought the voices were great as well. My favorite one was Weibig due to it being the most accurate to the show. The voice of Ben did a fantastic job, but I felt like his voice would have suited teenage Ben much better, especially since they were using transformations from Alien Force onward.
I can give you 10 good reasons right now to let me go. You're not the first doofus.
I'll give him that. Up.
To try to take this. It's hero time!
I get that the classic Ben is more recognizable, but honestly, non-fans of Ben 10 aren't gonna care which Ben you use, so why not appease to the people who actually do care? You can't tell me that seeing Kid Goku using Ultra Instinct wouldn't be jarring. But hey, that one shot of Heat Blast shooting a flamethrower with Hal manifesting a fire extinguisher was brilliant. I might be mistaken, but I think they were even using an original score too, so props to them for that. It even had lyrics. The super strength flick Alien X did was a great callback to the
I want to talk about that. The response with Heat Blast and him just manifesting the fire extinguisher. The thing about that is, in Justice League, I don't remember if it's Justice League or Justice League, Ultimate Justice League. Superman fights Volcana, which is from the original Superman the Animated Series. Volcana is pyrokinetic. John Stewart, a Green Lantern, encases her in a Green Lantern orb, a bubble. She goes to try and burn her way out, tries to overpower it. And then all of a sudden she's suffocating and she's asking why. John goes, fire needs air. You burned all of yours. That's one way he could have stopped Heat Blast.
episode, and then there was Ben, which Ben 10,000 did the same thing as Atomic X. The biggest thing I was worried about was them not giving Ben full control of Alien X. And they kinda didn't. Let me explain. Unfortunately, I ended up having a lot more to fix than I would have liked. I really wanted this to be an easy video and just enjoy the battle, but ironically, my biggest problems with the video happened right when Alien X showed up. The best way to begin is to explain every reason why the way they had Hal Jordan win would not work. Number 1, the Soda Bro effect. The way they had Hal Jordan win was by having him go back in time to the start of the battle, but what they failed to account for was the Soda Bro effect.
I will admit to this.
The Soda Bro effect is a ripple in the time stream created that can be detectable by those whose abilities are powerful enough to perceive changes in the time stream. The second Hal would use his time powers, and the fact he literally says,
Time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Alien X would be able to sense it and follow him backwards in time with him. The fight wouldn't just end there. Alien X can time travel as well.
Actually, there's a problem with that. This is where I'm about to nerd out on y'all. He went back in time first. Which means as he, okay. I don't know how many of you know anything about molecular acceleration. Yeah, I'm about to take it there. It's 9 Cyborg 009. There's a cyborg in there who actually has the ability of molecular acceleration. He has the key to it in his tooth. He clicks down on it, and he goes accelerate, and he chomps down, and he becomes hella fast. The thing about that is, you gotta accelerate when he's accelerating or before he accelerates, because that much difference between your acceleration and his is worlds apart. I traveled through time first. And because I'm traveling through time first, you're already behind me. And if you're trying to come, you're already too late. So, Soda Bro effect or not, you'd have to rewind time or travel back in time before I traveled back in time to stop me from causing that event that hit the Soda Bro effect to begin with. So, no.
Number 2, the Omnitrix's many failsafes. So Death Battle claims that the Omnitrix has no defenses against Ben's arm getting cut off, but that's literally what the energy feedback was for, to protect Ben. They even show it activate at the start of the battle. Cutting Ben's arm off counts as the Omnitrix being forcibly removed from Ben. Therefore, the Omnitrix would counter this. They also mention that the Omnitrix is able to take control and transform Ben into whatever alien he needs to survive.
Yes.
But fail to actually show that either. The Omnitrix could have transformed Ben into Goop, or Diamond Head, or someone else that could have survived the scissors. Catching Ben off guard isn't even an argument, because the Omnitrix's AI is advanced enough to react to things on its own, such as
the Omnitrix can instantly transform him fast enough to catch the Big Bang.
Which is their words, not mine. The fact that the Omnitrix has an anti-death failsafe isn't even...
Wording is important. I'm not even going to argue that point. Wording is important, especially when you're making arguments, as this is right now. Cutting his arm off? No. You know, Diamond Head, Goop, Big Chill. Because Big Chill can, he phases. Like, well, John Jones, Martian Manhunter, he phases. But I see him downshifting, not upshifting. And when I say downshifting and upshifting, I mean downshifting as a point to him being able to phase and walk through things, as opposed to upshifting, increasing his mass and giving himself a point of invulnerability and super strength. But even with that, like, just keep catching and suffocating him. Just keep adjusting. You can do that as a Green Lantern. Diamond Heads, they are reactive. I say Rionic. They are reactive to, they're crystals. They're reactive to sonics. Boom. Sonic devices. And even then, he's got to hear. Blows his ears out. You turn into Goop. Okay. Well, now I'll just burn you to death. Like, there's so much. Yeah. They're downplaying how. I don't think this guy actually know. Like, thing I noticed is anime people don't read comics. Obviously, this isn't an anime, but what I'm saying is, more often than not, you get somebody that only knows A. They don't know A and B. Or they know very little about B. And it's like, oh, well, this, that, and this. Well, this can counter it. No, it can't, because this, that, just... You guys are in my comments. I see it. As I said, this is my second reaction to it. I'm addressing everything.
Brought up once.
I always figured the Omnitrix had a failsafe that wouldn't let me die, and sure enough, it kicked in right when the Big Bang started, gave me just the alien I needed. It always seems to give me the right alien, even when I want something else. Guess I should stop fighting it. It seems to know me better than me. The Omnitrix had a failsafe that wouldn't let me die, failsafe.
And they use clips from the very same episode that this is mentioned in, even showing scenes moments before the statement. So it seems like they did not watch the full episodes that they pulled clips from before using them.
Just because the Omnitrix won't let you die doesn't mean it can always stop you from dying. Period. A lantern ring is no different. How did Hal Jordan get his ring? It's designed to not let the wearer die, but the wearer died and it shot off to Hal.
I mean, that may be a bit too much to ask, but had they done it, they would have come across a major game-changing feat. Number 3, misunderstanding Alien X. My biggest problem with the video was how they handled Alien X in general. He was treated far more like a melee fighter than he actually is, and his durability was significantly downplayed to the point of being non-existent.
It's Death Battle. They have to be entertaining. What's more entertaining? Two dudes brawling. Why do you think people watch Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, the powers and things are cool, but they're there for the fist fights and the brawls. That's actually what makes a lot of anime good. Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, Yu Yu Hakusho. Heck, I'ma go Kenshin, and Kenshin really doesn't have any powers outside of physical shit.
At sometimes. To start, Alien X can erase people in the blink of an eye, yet they're having him Thanos him in a painfully slow manner.
That's just the way they chose to do it. When the entire DC universe got rewritten for New 52 and all that good stuff, did you think it gradually happened? Because if it gradually happened, Lanterns and other people could have done the same thing Hal did. They could have stopped it. Oh, hey, everybody could have done it. Or somebody just with the willpower to stop it. Kilowog survived that, as was pointed out. Which means even in an instant, it doesn't affect everyone. And I will say that's writing on both Death Battles and DC's terms, because Hal Jordan was rewritten, Kilowog was not. Death Battle wrote that the way they did, but that was for entertainment. It doesn't change the feat.
This is not how Alien X erases people. They could just blink and you'd be gone. As I've said, he was primarily fighting melee style, which while we have seen this in the show, it's never been to such an isolated and prolonged degree. You can see Alien X clones in the background as if they're waiting for an opening to get in on the punching. But they can warp all of time and space. Why are they treating this like a street brawl? Bare minimum, they should at least be firing an energy blast or throwing planets or something, if you wanted to keep things purely physical. But them
because clones are, well, they're clones, and their way of thinking is 9 times out of 10 the way of thinking of the person who's the original. So if Alien X is Ben is Alien X is getting there and he's brawling and he's only thinking brawl style fight, and I create clones and they're coming in on the same thing, I'm waiting for my shot to hit you with one good one. I get what he's saying though. Especially when he brings up later that each Alien X clone is an entity in and of itself. But you have to ask, that's too many variables, too many questions, because Alien X was made from the Omnitrix. Do they have Omnitrixes? Are they linked by that, or are they autonomous in and of themselves? I mean, obviously they would be autonomous, but the question is, would they be reliant upon Ben? Would they be reliant on the Omnitrix? Because Ben, well, no, now he doesn't time out, but but when he changes, does that affect them some kind of way? Because you can still see the Omnitrix symbols in the way that this is handled, is what I'm asking. That's just a question of mine.
Standing around to watch is just unacceptable. Remember when you showed how he can create a galaxy-sized black hole? Where was that? Even if Hal could counter it, why is he only punching? In fact, this shield shouldn't even be working against Alien X to begin with, especially if you're going to show Forearms shattering one of his shields moments earlier.
No, it should be working. That's just his take on it, because I'm not going to call him a fanboy. I can't help traffic. I'm pretty sure y'all can hear that shit going down. But I'm not going to call him a fanboy. But look at all his videos. It's Ben 10 oriented. Who do you think he's rooting for? This shouldn't work. No, this is why it does work. Hal Jordan, a lantern ring is incredibly powerful. Period. Now, as I said earlier, consistency with the lasers and with Ben. Ben got hit by a laser. He was still alive. If he's going on the fact that Forearms shattered a shield, okay, well, I don't need that level of energy. Let me increase the output. Now, my shield is stronger. I would think that much would have gotten to him, but I don't know.
Earlier. This shot right here particularly bugs me for many reasons. First, if we're gonna pretend that this can even happen, then Hal's raw aura is enough to vaporize 3 different Alien X's instantaneously, and he should have the battle right there.
That's not a raw aura.
They shouldn't disappear because there's no reason to. They're not shadow clones. Once Ben duplicates, there's not like a one main Alien X. They're not just gonna vanish if Ben is caught off guard. The second that shield is down, they're still gonna be there and leave Hal exposed, and at the very least can keep punching him, I guess. Number 4, Hal's big weakness. One fact they confirm but is completely overlooked is while Hal's ring has a periodic cooldown time, Ben's Omnitrix does not when Master Control is active. And it's pretty obvious from the get-go that Ben has Master Control in this battle. We see Alien X use his time reversal abilities, but only once. Which is strange because it's not like he couldn't continue to do this over and over for...
This is something I've been addressing in things prior. 1. If there's a Master Control for the Omnitrix and there's no timeout anymore, what makes you think a lantern ring can't do the same? A lantern ring is a weapon, and it is a weapon. A Green Lantern ring is a weapon that is fueled by your will. It makes whatever you can think of, as long as you can understand what it is you're making, or at least to some degree. You think I can't make something on my own aura where I'm constantly pulling in energy for my ring? Really? Seriously? So, he's got Master Control, but you're counting on me timing out? I can hear somebody crying about that in the comments.
For just about ever. Ben can continuously rewind time and trap Hal in a Doctor Strange Dormammu type situation until Hal's ring inevitably runs out of power and Ben can...
I just addressed that, the power thing. Okay, no, you can't lock him in a time loop. Why? Because Dormammu didn't have time powers. Because in his dimension, something like time didn't exist. It's stated in Doctor Strange. What did you do? I brought something from my world to yours. Time. Time exists for both of them. And if Alien X can keep rewinding time, and it was already shown that Hal can do it, what makes you think that Hal can't do it? So now they're just trapping each other in a perpetual time loop. Who's going to outloop who?
Strike the final blow. Hal may be fast, but his ring's recharge time is not instantaneous. So once the ring runs out of power, he is forced to leave himself vulnerable. Ben's Omnitrix can keep Ben as one transformation for as long as he needs. The confirmed record so far being held by Albedo, remaining as Alien X for nearly an entire year. There's also the fact that Ben's Omnitrix has failsafes against its removal, but Hal's ring can quite literally slide right off.
What's this do?
Huh?
This year, give them unforgettable travel experiences with Get Your Guide.
Won't do that again.
Unless I want to.
The only way any of these scenarios that they created would work.
What is this? Rev my shitbox day? Anyway. No, there are safeguards to lantern rings. The shows are not consistent with the comics. That's a known thing because the comics have so much history that when you do the animations and things like that, you got to try and do what you can to get this new audience into it. You know how much was cut from the MCU, the DCEU? I read comics. I was talking about that, especially with a guy at work who was going, oh, it was like, no, it wasn't like this in the comic. A, B, C happened. They cut out B and C. They went A, D, and D didn't happen because they were... No, the lantern ring, it's not instantaneous. You gotta say the oath. You say the oath while you're charging it, and it's charging as your oath goes. When you're finished, that's usually when your ring is done charging. And if anybody knows the oath, in brightest day, in blackest night, let no evil escape my sight. Let all those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. That is the oath. And that is what? A couple seconds? Don't get me wrong. I understand a couple seconds can make or break a fight. I'm a retired fighter. It can make or break a fight. But, as I said earlier, what stops me from making something that can keep my ring charged? Nothing. Especially if I can make an excuse me, an aura around me that I can survive in the atmosphere of space, which has no atmosphere. It has no atmosphere. I can survive in space. I can breathe in space. You can hear me in space. I can fly in space. I can travel at light speeds. You think I can't do something to keep my ring charged? It's just that it's a writing loop. It's something that was like, it has to have some kind of weakness. It's like how they came up with kryptonite for Superman. It's why they don't keep Batman with powers, despite the fact that he can literally be Tony Stark. He can literally walk around with a suit of armor like Iron Man if he wanted to, but they don't do that because it's easier for writing. It's easier to get adversaries up in there.
Is because they significantly downplayed Alien X. I think Death Battle is just too used to choreographing these very Dragon Ball Z-like kind of battles that they just don't have the creativity, or not creativity, focus or versatility to handle a character like Alien X or Ben Tennyson.
Saying you don't have the versatility.
I'm disappointed we never even got to see
saying you don't have the creativity.
Interact with Hal's light constructs, especially considering feedback is even listed as one of the notable transformations. Number 5. The afterthoughts. After the battle, the two hosts just recap in more detail why they think Hal has the right to win. But it seems like they were just stating random facts to fluff out the ending and further prove their point, but a lot of their facts were either wrong or contradict what was said or shown.
He could only ever use one at a time, while Hal always has access to all of his powers.
Even with the flexibility of Master Control, this meant Ben was always playing catch-up.
Not really, because in your own video, Ben pretty much is leading the battle and calling the shots. Hal is reacting to everything.
Because that's how Hal fights. I don't even want to hear this. One, that's how they animated it. But Hal does fight like that. But Ben wasn't leading the battle. He was changing, and Hal was just going, okay, well, just, you know, just on top of the, look. It's an arc in DC Comics. Hal Jordan literally made constructs of the entirety of the Justice League. And in doing so, those constructs were independent. They were self-thinking. And they had the powers of whatever leaguer they were supposed to be. Look it up. This dude don't know as much. He doesn't. It's like I've been saying. He's good with Ben 10. He's great with that. Doesn't know enough about Hal Jordan.
Ben is doing. So that statement right there is just untrue.
Ben's Diamond Head form was tough, sure, but he wasn't surviving a planet exploding in his face.
Not only did they not even use Diamond Head, but who cares? He has other aliens that could easily survive a planet-level attack, especially Alien X, who seemed to be the focus of this battle.
Accelerate was wicked fast, but not fast enough to cross the universe in an hour.
But Jet Ray is, and they didn't use Accelerate or Jet Ray in this battle at all.
No.
The time Alien X recreated the universe. He only did that because he couldn't stop it from being destroyed in the first place.
Also incorrect. He just didn't know the universe was actually being destroyed. He did nothing because he did not know what was going on and completely underestimated the stakes.
Wait, the universe really is being destroyed? I'm afraid it is. But Alien X can fix this, right? Right? Fine.
In fact, the feedback holding the Big Bang feat mentioned earlier in the video was him doing that very thing, preventing an active Annihilarch from going off because he does understand the stakes now. They literally mention him doing something that they later say he can't do.
Alien X has never shown any defenses against the same kinds of things that Hal could replicate, like mind control, transmutation, and time manipulation.
Are you serious?
I'm not the one that wrote that script.
They then
I'm not
quoted
arguing with that one.
another
I'll
Derek J. White
agree.
Statement proclaiming him to be a creator, trying to refute Alien X's multiversal durability. But if you were to ask the actual creators of Ben 10, you'd come to learn that yes, they indeed can, and it is not a joke. You can hear more information about that in my video, Ben 10
Another
creators
damn
answer
ad.
your questions.
This dude put 3 ads in like this.
Hey, wanna play some video games? I know I do. I haven't seen the sun in years. So, let's play League of Legends. Sound familiar? It should. It's amazing. And it's free. You can afford that, right? If you had friends, they would already be playing it. So why aren't you? Jump on in and make some friends. Here's how it works. You start by picking a champion, and there are a lot to choose from. Found one with cool...
I watched Arcane.
So now, I'd like to take the time to respond to some of my comments from my previous video. A lot of good points were brought up, and I'm glad that I have the chance to go over them. Our first comment asks if Ben's transformation upgrade could take over Hal's ring. And while at first, I wanted to dismiss the idea, I did quite a bit of research on it, and seeing as the ring is tech-based, be it very advanced tech, I have yet to find a reason why Upgrade would not be able to take control,
because he
and
could
even
be willed
dismantle
out.
Hal's ring. So there's another easy win right there. Another user wanted me to
And you
mention
need
other
to know
skill
what
sets
the
that
ring
Ben
was.
has, such as piloting multiple types of aircrafts, not unlike Hal Jordan, and the ability to learn magic thanks to currently inactive genetics within him. We only see Ben perform magic in one of his alternative futures,
Yeah.
but since it's
Ben
indeed a
10,000.
possible future, it confirms the possibility of Ben mastering this practice. Blue Flaming Wolf also brought up another great feat that Ben has. He has perfect photographic memory.
That's the door to anywhere. Nothing can breach it. You have to know the true name of the place you're going.
You mean the glowy letters? No problem.
You remember all that just from looking at it? Sure.
You really aren't working up to your potential in school.
That's what they tell me.
Ben has also been able to use his perfect memory to see patterns in his recurring villains, thwarting them easier and easier every time they meet.
That's because you gotta face them multiple times.
Ben had forgotten Zombozo, but it was stated that Ben was only pretending to forget him because he didn't want to admit to Kevin that he used to be afraid of clowns. One user wanted me to explain what the Poultice Altiari is, since I briefly mentioned it. And while it's not really important, it is a cool piece of Ben 10 lore that not many people know about, so I'll make it quick. In the Ben 10 Ultimate Alien game Cosmic Destruction, Ben temporarily has access to an ancient Galvan device known as the Poultice Altiari. It is said to be capable of multiplying one's natural abilities several times over. Ben uses this device on his transformation Waybig to give him an advantage over a battle with Albedo, who is also transformed into a Tokustar. Shortly after the battle, the device destroyed itself. Arthur here wanted to know that if Ben was able to multiply himself into 1,000 via Echo Echo, if each of those clones could then repeat the process, creating 1 million clones, and potentially repeating the process infinitely. Similar to the upgrade theory, I wanted to dismiss this as well, simply because it is just so ridiculously broken. But, yet again, everything adds up. The Omnitrix is perfectly capable of creating and altering mass, and support multiple powerful transformations. So if an infinite army of Bens isn't your thing, well, try to debunk it in the comments. I'll be listening. The death battle will undoubtedly go down as a significant event in the fandom.
Most of these aliens need to breathe. They do. And a lot of, when they went to space, none of them outside of Alien X was messing with Hal. Kids are having fun. Anyway, just cut their oxygen off. That's what a lot of stuff comes down to. Just cut the oxygen off.
Unfortunate that it doesn't really do justice to our protector of Earth that he deserves, but any exposure for Ben is something to be positive about. So, thank you for checking out my video. You can stay up to date with everything on my social media, and join the Discord to talk to other Passion fans. You can also see exclusive weekly updates from my crossover series 5 years later, over on our Patreon for just $1 a month. And until then, keep it fizzy.
Okay. That is my second reaction to it. As I said, I can already hear people screaming at me in the comments, but this was more in depth with why I'm disagreeing. I actually haven't, I'm not going to lie, I haven't rewatched the first episode, the first reaction I did to this. I've just been getting so much hate from it that I'm like, you know what, I'll redo it. And I told someone that I'm just going to redo this. Well, this is me redoing it. And like I said, just Ben 10 is not beating absolutely everyone. And in most of the cases, especially with Hal Jordan, you got to go Alien X to even be able to do anything. A lot of the times, all Hal really just has to do is catch you in a bubble and then cut your air off. So I'm more than sure you guys rooting for Ben 10 are not going to agree with that. But there's too many instances where it shows that the only way you can get out of that is by trying to turn into X or Big Chill. And then Hal can do something about that. Like, but as I said, I redo this reaction all over again. I've kept my word. I'm King Sway, and I'll catch you in the next one.